if you polled a good percentage of the U.S. population, I'd venture to bet that a good majority of them legitimately believe Dr. Dre is a licensed physician. Wait, is he? Oh, hello. What are we talking about today, Mario? Shut up so I can tell you. Oh my God. Oh, sorry about your headphones or your speakers or whatever. No, I'm actually not sorry. So what are we talking about today? We're going to talk about, as you can see, there's a little change of scenery. I'm just trying out new stuff, trying to keep things spicy. You know what they say about relationships, got to keep them spicy. This is not a relationship, by the way. I don't know why I said that. So anyway, so what are we talking about today? We're going to talk about why I stopped stretching. Now, key word there or letter is I. This is about my experience with stretching. Now, I'm not, okay, disclaimer. I have to put a disclaimer. I'm not saying you should stop stretching. I'm not saying stretching sucks. I'm not saying the Jews caused the vast majority of the world's problems. Whoa, what? Where did that part come from? Whoa! Where did that part come from? This YouTube channel is not anti-Semitic. Sometimes. But we all have our moments. Alright, what am I talking about? So, anyway, this is about why I stopped stretching, not more so a campaign against stretching, okay? If you enjoy stretching, do it. I really don't care. But I'm just gonna try to inform you of a little bit of stretching's, I don't know, outcomes, uses. Alright, so a little background. I used to be a huge fan of stretching. I used to stretch 3 times per day, once in the morning, once before I lifted or trained. I train. Or once before, or like around evening, before dinner or something like that. Each about 15 minutes, I would stretch my entire lower body. Well, I would stretch my entire body. Why did I do this? Because I thought I was being dope. You know, like, oh, I stretch. Look at me. I'm so healthy. I'm so fit. I'm so nimble. Look at my flexibility. I can lick my own balls. Like, oh, whoa, bro. These are your goals for stretch. Okay. I didn't do that. So, I stretched 3 times a day because I was trying to work on my mobility, my flexibility. I was trying to make sure I was a lot more nimble. I was trying to make sure my squat form was better because I thought if I was a lot more mobile and flexible, my squat form would get a lot better because all that mattered at that point was just getting stronger at the squat, the deadlift, the bench press, etc. Then I moved over to a camp of the starting strength. You can Google it, the starting strength camp, where you don't really... Again, this is depending on your goals. My goals were strength training. I was just trying to get stronger and I was trying to build muscle, but the main goal was to get stronger at the squat, the bench, the deadlift, and the overhead press. Now, how do you get better at those movements? I'm not saying how do you get stronger. I'm asking how do you get better? By doing them, right? What are you more afraid of? The dude who practiced 10,000 kicks or the dude who practiced the same kick 10,000 times? A little Bruce Lee quote. Bruce Lee was a charlatan. Okay, now is not the time for your rants, by the way. Anyway, so what I'm saying is why was I stretching each individual lower body muscle group when I could stretch all of them at once without inadvertently stretching them, really? Not even attempting to stretch them, but stretching them in the process of practicing the movement, which is the squat. How do you get better at these movements? By doing them. How do you get better at bench pressing? By bench pressing. If you only bench press once a week and you're like, oh man, my bench press is stuck, I can't get it stronger. Bench press twice a week. If you bench press 3 times a week, bench press 4 times a week. Same thing with the squat. How do you get better at the squat? Practicing. Squat. Actually squat. Now, also, when you squat, I'm going to take the squat for example. When you squat, what are you using? Every single muscle group from here, from about upper sternum, not just sternum, and down. Every single muscle group. So instead of stretching each of those muscle groups, the hamstrings, the quads, the glutes, individually for 15 to 20 minutes, 30 seconds each side, static stretching, why not just do a set of 5 or 10 of squats with the bar? Now, not only would you be stretching those muscles out all together instead of individually in unison, you would also be practicing your technique and form on the squat. You get to kill two birds with one stone. That statement is probably not approved by PETA. Yeah, I don't care. Why do I care? I like animals. So. This goes for the bench press as well. Before I used to bench press, I would do I would stretch my chest out. I would do those bullshit. Do you remember in gym class, before you had to do anything, you would have to do these arm circles? Remember those bullshit arm circles? Everybody did those. Dude, I lived in India. What did your warm up in India for gym class? Arm circles. Where did these? Who was the guy who invented that shit? Dude, those are universal. Everybody did that shit. So I would stretch my chest out, my shoulders out, my lats. Unnecessary. Why not just bench press? I get to work on my technique, and I get to stretch out that musculature and warm it up. See, part of stretching is also warming up. What are you doing? Whatever you're about to work. Let's say it's a leg day. Before you start your legs, you want to warm up your legs. You want blood circulation going into your legs, your muscle bellies, and you want to get used to the weight, obviously. So why would you stretch beforehand when you can activate all that musculature warming up and ramping up on the squat? And by ramping up, I mean you don't put weight on the bar, your working weight on the bar right away. You go bar, which is 45 pounds, then you put 135 pounds, then 185, then maybe 200, until you get to your working weight. You slowly, gradually go up. In that process, you're stretching out your entire lower body musculature. Now, again, I'm using the squat as an example. This isn't universal, but you're stretching out, you're warming up, and you're working on the technique of your entire lower body musculature. So why would you individually stretch each muscle group for 15 to 20 minutes or even 10 minutes before you start your workout? Why? Because you're going to get more nimble, you're going to get more flexible, your mobility. I'm going to tell you right now, and this is part of my experience. When I stopped stretching, zero stretching, other than a pause squat here and there, just so I can work on my form and get comfortable with the isometric of the squat, which is the bottom position of the squat. Just get comfortable with a strong base, make sure my center of gravity is right, my knees are in line with my feet, all that jazz. I was pretty flexible before I stopped stretching. Now, when I got my squat up to, let's say, I believe 365 or 385 for 5 reps, I tried all those stretching movements that I did before, like adductor stretches, tensor fascia latae stretches, calf stretches, all the lower body stretches that I did before I stopped stretching. I did those again. Guess what? My mobility and my flexibility not only stayed the same, but it improved. Why? Because my joints, my ligaments, my musculature, everything got stronger to the point where I could squat 365 or I believe 385 for 5 reps, as opposed to before when I was stretching, I just got to 315 pounds for 5 reps, which is 3 plates. That was a big milestone for me at the time. Nothing had changed as far as my flexibility, because you're still using all that musculature, not only when you warm up, but when you actually have your working weight. And if your nutrition and everything is on point, you're going to get stronger, you're going to have a larger musculature. And this doesn't it's not mutually exclusive to strength training. This also goes for, let's say you want to do hypertrophy training. When you go into the gym, let's say it's your chest day. What's the first thing you're going to do? Let's say you're going to do a dumbbell chest press. Instead of stretching each pectoralis individually, doing your arm circles, and then maybe doing some mobility drills like band pull-aparts, why not get some lighter dumbbells and practice the movement, so that not only you are practicing the movement, you're warming up the musculature that you're going to be using, and you're also getting used to the weight. So let's say you're doing you're using 80-pound dumbbells, right? Start with 30-pound dumbbells, then go with 50-pound dumbbells, and then use your 80-pound dumbbells. Now, don't go to failure on those warm-ups. That's not the point. Most people are going to take it the wrong way. It's like, oh, sir, dude, you're telling me I'm just going to go ham. I'm going to go 20 reps with 30s. No, God damn it. It's called a warm-up. God damn it. So yeah, again, I'm not telling you to stop stretching. Like if you're into like yoga and all that, if you want to be flexible, if you like the way it feels, like when I was stretching, I loved the way it made me feel. But it got to a point where I was just like, I don't want to stretch anymore. Not because it doesn't feel good, but it's boring. So a part of it I stopped stretching was because it got boring for me. I was like, oh my god, it's 6 o'clock, I have to start stretching. But eventually, when I stopped stretching and I realized, oh my god, I'm just as flexible and nimble as I was before, and I got stronger. This is dope. I don't have to stretch anymore. Fantastic. So, if you love stretching, do that shit. Do it. If it makes you feel good, do it. But it's not necessary if you're doing the right movements as part of your programming. Stretching should not be part of your programming. It should not on your list of things to do for the day. It should not be stretching, and then my weighted sets, my workout. No. Stretching is part of the warm up, and it's really not that pertinent because it's not loaded really. I mean, you can use those mobility drills with the bands and everything. Why not just use the actual weight for the actual movement, really? I mean, obviously there's stretching and mobility drills for people who are advanced. Now, if you're an upper intermediate to advanced lifter, there are some mobility drills to help with faulty movement patterns that are going to help, and you should probably do those because you have achieved the level of an advanced lifter to be able to do those. But if you're just starting out and you think, I have to stretch because that's just something you do. No, you don't have to do that. You just have to use the right movements for the task that you're about to try to achieve. So if you're squatting, or if you have a leg day, just do 10 bodyweight squats with good form. Really pay attention to your form and make sure you're going below parallel. If you're about to do like a bench press PR, just go warm up with the bar for 2 sets of 10. Work on your technique, your form, your speed, and then gradually ramp up. Okay? So, in unison, or not in unison, in retrospect, stretching is fun, but it's not necessary. Okay? So, I will see you next time.